Thanks everybody for coming. So this project was selected as a jury favorite in the international category of the 2025 Creative Bureaucracy Festival in the global call for participation. We received over 200 submissions from 40 countries. That's remarkable. And it's a fantastic moment around the world. Over 200 projects are redesigning society. And at the same time, it's not an easy process. Being part of the jury, we see so many wonderful projects, and we have to select them. And that's a very, very hard process. From all these excellent submissions, we have to select the one or the few that make it to the festival. So the jury had a really tough time choosing the projects that we actually wanted to come here and that we wanted to elevate even more. So those 9 projects that we opened with, right, for public voting during the Digital Kickoff Day in March were the ones that really made the cut. Today, 6 of those shortlisted projects are being presented as part of the festival. There are 3 in the German program, and then there are 3 in the English one. So in the efforts you all, as part of the projects, are making, you and your teams, to transform society and reshape the world, those efforts are really valued. And I strongly encourage any and all of you to submit your projects next year to next year's call for the cases by the Creative Bureaucracy Festival. So now let me tell you about the jury favorite. It's not every day that a jury favorite emerges from one of the most institutionally complex, geographically remote, and politically layered corners of the world. But that's exactly what happened with this year's project from the Indian state of Meghalaya. Now, Meghalaya isn't exactly the kind of place where we typically expect public sector innovation to thrive. It's a remote and hilly state that's largely rural in the northeast of India. And it's far from the country centers of power. It's home to strong tribal identities, many languages, and a history of low institutional trust. Public systems there are stretched pretty thin, and informality is high. So, in other words, the literal and metaphorical terrain is anything but easy. And yet, it's precisely out of this context that something extraordinary emerged. Faced with persistently high maternal mortality deaths, Meghalaya didn't wait for the perfect conditions or the top-down solutions to arrive. Instead, they began to work differently, across silos, across ranks, and across the gaps that so often separate government from citizens. Now, this project didn't just deliver solutions. It sought to rewire the very way government thinks, learns, and acts. And it did so by making learning and iteration part of the system itself. It brought together frontline workers, senior officials, and local communities, not once, but regularly. It prioritized listening over instructing and practice over policy. And perhaps most impressively, it actually made that practice stick. So what makes this project stand out, not just in India, but globally, is that it shows how innovation can take root not despite complexity, but because of it. And therefore, it holds lessons, not just for states where informality prevails, but also for heavily bureaucratized systems that struggle to adapt. The work of the Innovation Lab in the government of Meghalaya is a powerful reminder that creative bureaucracy isn't a luxury of well-resourced institutions. It's a necessity, especially in the places where the stakes are so high and the tools are often so few. As a jury favorite this year, it stands as a model of what is possible when courage meets creativity inside public systems. So with that, let's take a further look. basketball player.
Just stay here for
I
a
just
second.
stay here for a second.
I'm not going to just let this smooth in and out business go on. No. But, sorry, we occasionally work together. So, just so you know, Anki really studies public innovation and has really, so whatever she was saying, I personally take seriously. Thank you very much. Okay. So now we're going to see a short video.
Kumar's project.
So should we get that going?
Let's get that going.
Hello everyone. It's indeed a privilege for us to have our work recognized at Creative Bureaucracy Festival, and we're really thankful for this opportunity for sharing our work, especially how actually we are able to reduce the maternal deaths in the state of Meghalaya in India. And this is actually a result of a lot of effort, a collaborative effort by the frontline functionaries working closer to the people, and also with immense support from the political leadership that what we have received in the state of Meghalaya, headed by our Chief Minister. And we really wanted to participate in this festival, but I regret that we could not able to participate in person. But we really wanted to partner with a lot of global practitioners who are also the creative bureaucrats in solving public problems. We really wanted to stay in touch with, and we are really thankful to the organizers of Creative Bureaucracy Festival for having given us this opportunity to showcase our work. Thank you all. Meghalaya state in India is a very beautiful state, but also a very difficult state. The reason is that the state has about 7,000 habitations which are highly dispersed, and it's very difficult to provide services, and also from the point of the communities it's also very challenging for them to access the services on time. Over a period of time, there were a large number of maternal deaths and child deaths. In fact, our MMR was very high, IMR was very high. We have huge geographical challenges. We also have huge cultural challenges too, because majority of the population is indigenous population, who live in their own communities and with traditional beliefs, how to introduce science to them. We changed our strategy. Instead of solving the problems with default program or existing programs, we thought what is our purpose of these programs? To reduce maternal deaths, to reduce infant deaths. How actually we can bring the purpose before the program. We have used a methodology called problem-driven iterative adaptation approach, which is developed at Harvard Kennedy School. We started encouraging the frontline functionaries, started actually taking proactive initiatives to solve the problems, and the state has provided the facilitating support.
Lembaga BSc, ngi Sri Lanka lembaga ICDS, ngi shong meeting lengkat buat ke ICDS dulu, bania perkat ke jingbam ke bapi yo nang pi, kumno pi asam pi ai segi kurung segi longkumi, nang tangi shong meeting dulu ban I Asia, bende na po ka kot kekya po stall dulu, jadi nang tanah blok buruk ni ya shong lang, ngi Sri Lanka.
When we look at reducing maternal death, one important critical point is that within 30 minutes, when the mother experiences labor pain, she has to be brought to the health facility. But 85% of our habitations cannot provide that kind of opportunity for the mothers. So we've set up transit homes where the mothers are proactively brought to these facilities and provided proper care along with their children and family, so that they would live next to the health facility, close to the doctor, so that in case of emergency they can be provided good support.
Ngapoy tiuch pang transit home te de lawan ni hospital te bang 4 khare I doktor tri ya thu yang aban thia nan ni pot transit home tinga kali doktor on da thia ni kalong doktor yang kalong kom haye plaban sum no bam kadi ru ka biang kom haye ban thia ban haye Kaya banon ka hospital mo kam long kan mo kam solution na one hospital kan mo baki dan ki nurse ke doctor dan mak no yarap.
Under this program, we also have come up with the idea that we'll provide the wage compensation for you. Similarly, we also set up a system. We can't send an ambulance when the mother started experiencing a labor pain. So what we did was, we have identified the vehicles within this habitation, put them on a service. It's like an Uber kind of a model, under the Chief Minister's Safe Motherhood scheme. So the poor patients need not actually be hesitant of coming to the health facility because transportation services are provided.
The ANMs now utilize utilizing these fleet vehicles, they are able to visit high-risk mother, especially when they can't come and visit to the center. By providing that kind of facility, it's like it's bringing that closeness, like the trust is building between the A&M and the beneficiaries.
Over and above, the most important thing is that there is an intrinsic motivation among the frontline functionaries to save lives. The entire missionary was working with a purpose. All this actually have resulted today the reduction of the maternal deaths by over 50% in the last 4 years, and the infant deaths by over 35% in the last 4 years. When we started getting these results on reduction of maternal deaths and reduction of infant deaths, the state government also got motivated. The state government started investing more on health sector. Today, the state is spending over 9% of the state budget on health financing. This is the highest percentage in the country, because we need to improve the health infrastructure. We need to train more doctors. We need to recruit more doctors. So a lot of reforms have been brought to strengthen the health systems through this project. We need to address the socio-economic determinants of healthcare to provide healthcare. Each mother who passed away because of situations like this is actually making us to work with much more commitment, responsibility to see that no such mother would die in future.